Ready.
Cool. Awesome. So here I am with Mel Carmine. Mel Carmine is the creator of the Quantum Summit, one of the best summits around for really everything with XRP, health, everything going on in the world that people probably don't want you to know about. But Mel, I know you need no introduction, but why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and kind of what the Quantum Summit's all about?
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And thank you for having me on your show. It's an absolute pleasure to be interviewed by the Bruce Lee of the XRP community. This guy knows what's underneath the hood and exactly how each component works to the minute detail. And I can tell you that for a fact. But anyway, needless to say, yeah, the Quantum Summit came out of necessity because I interested in this broad array of subjects like flat Earth, even though I'm not an advocate for one or the other, because we've been not allowed to leave the planet. We're contained on these things with four rubber tires, which is nothing more than an extension of a Model T Ford, scraping the earth like a turkey. Somebody's dictating that reality because they don't want us to get an 80,000 foot view. God forbid, we come up with the truth. So here we are. And so that's a very intriguing subject. So we have the extraterrestrial subject. We have people on stage that are going to be talking about the Galactic Federation. And some of these people actually believe that the XRP was handed to us and it's been battle tested on other planets. And they give us something that we know works not just here, because we already moved trillions of dollars, but also on other planets. We got everything from, people who want to clean up the atmosphere, the chemtrails. Obviously, today's a very special day because Donald Trump just got inaugurated. And we know that a lot of people are moving towards making this a reality as far as where this planet is headed from a technological standpoint, from a life extension standpoint, from a breathing clean air standpoint, from being able to eat organic foods for the very first time in a long time, where that becomes the standard by law. And I've said this at the last Quantum Summit. If you remember our opening movie, I said, we're going to clean it up. We're going to clean up the air. We're going to clean up the soil. We're going to, not knowing that Donald Trump was going to appoint RFK, right, to come into the administration to literally, flip that bill and handle that part of it, which was predicted, technically speaking. If you want to, I'm not psychic, obviously, but I think I could see the future like anybody else. Just basic common sense. So we cannot continue the planet to go down this path, if you will, and think that humanity is going to thrive and everything's going to be hunky dory. No, we need people to get rich. We need people to get healthy so that they can enjoy the riches. We need people to not have to work so many hours so that we can hang out with our families and enjoy our families. Things are busted up. Things are really, really busted up, and we need to physically change what is, we even though we work for ourselves, we got to continuously work. We have to work so hard to get this planet back to where we can see now the future in the next 4 or 5 years and get it back on track. I think, people are tired. People want to be able to hang out with their loved ones. People want to be able to be in a situation where they could stake their XRP and their cryptocurrency and sort of like, make residual income like real estate and be able to do the things that they enjoy doing for a change. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things that I learned the most at that first Quantum Summit was just how like-minded all of these different people really are. And even though cryptocurrency tends to be the thing that really brings us together, at the end of the day, it's so much more than just the cryptocurrency side of things. Like you said, health is wealth. It's important that as we make this money, right, we're in a healthy position. We're able to use the capital that we create through this investment to better other parts of our lives. As we've all seen throughout the Ripple SEC case, throughout all these things that have been thrown at us over the last couple of years, there's more to all of this than just the upside of the asset. And when it comes down to creating these communities of people who really want to better themselves and better the world around us, there's a lot more to it than just that. And what I found was being able to be in the same room as a lot of people who might have the same ideas as myself in some degree, but also completely different ideas in all different parts of the spectrum. It's just really cool to be able to be in a room with those people and really just bounce ideas off each other and surround yourself with really an elite group of thinkers.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a risk on my part to put all of those subjects under one umbrella because it's like one of those experiments that's never been tried before, and it could really backfired on me spectacularly. Thank God it didn't. People are like, wow, I've never been to an event where they cover all of these subjects, not knowing that the people that are really into XRP are also A lot of them are into flat Earth. A lot of them are, some of them are saying it's round. Nobody really knows for sure. But it's a great way to get into a friendly debate. Look, at the end of the day, it's not about mathematics. It's about why are we contained to a Model T Ford? Why are we contained to a technology that flies and somebody else is flying it? You're not in control because you're not allowed to see. You're not allowed to know what's out there, right? So you send your kids to school, the indoctrination camps where they're basically being conditioned, which is a nice word, right? For that other one that starts with a B, okay, ends with a D, right? Brainwashed. I might as well just say it, right? And, and to believe things that are not real, a waste of time, a waste of taxpayers' money, a waste of energy, a bunch of teachers that don't know what the hell it is they're teaching. It's a waste of time, right? So now we've come to a conclusion that, hey, even guys like Patrick Bet David and Joe Rogan and big podcasters that are weird, you and I are like ants compared to these guys, right? And they're saying we're wasting time sending our kids to school. They can learn more by watching people like Patrick Bet David, or for that matter, a guy like, O'Connor here, Mikkel Markets. If you want to understand the minute details of how the XRP works, that's the guy I would send my kid to school to, because he's like the Bruce Lee of the XRP, right? This guy comes inside the room, and I got to tell the story. I got to tell your audience because your audience would be very proud of you. Okay, he comes into a room with a bunch of people talking a bunch of nonsensical stuff, and he does it in such a classy like way that it's like he basically sliced their balls off and handed it to them, and it took him a half hour to realize they were even bleeding. You know what I'm saying? I said, whoa, that was good. And then you had like three other people in there that were, I wouldn't say equally because you were like another level, but they were also very smart. And that entire podcast that was live, when you go back to hit the play button, well, guess what, folks? It doesn't play because you cannot let that out because they basically had it on audio tape rather, that they got their asses handed to them by this dude and three other people. One of them, which I believe was from Australia.
No,
So
I definitely appreciate that, and that's definitely something I like to do. One of the things I always tell people is like it's not my business whether or not you buy XRP. I mean, like for me, I would actually prefer some of those people actually might miss out on XRP. I wouldn't mind if they missed out on XRP, but I don't want to let people go and the people who listen to them, the people who try to get the information, try to get the facts, be misled down the road. So my whole idea is anyone with a brain can kind of figure this stuff out and really see the big picture. But if you're being fed incorrect facts, incorrect information, then it's really hard to see how everything plugs in. So all I want to do is make sure these people have the appropriate facts in their hands so they can go make the right decision. And what I find is most of the people who do have the correct facts and do have the right information kind of end up really going down the XRP rabbit hole because they see how many things that XRP can solve in this financial system we're heading into. And you just learn so much more getting more and more into the weeds. And another great plug for the Quantum Summit. I mean, this is how you surround yourself with people who do know a lot about it. And you have those conversations. You can get those little things that are kind of blocking you from seeing the big picture. You can kind of get that missing information and be able to really build on yourself and give yourself a better understanding that from everything that's happening. One of the things I wanted to ask you is what is something you're really excited this year about the Quantum Summit that you think is like an improvement from the one last year? Because last year was absolutely incredible, but I know you're always grinding. You always have new things coming. So what are you most excited about?
Well, I'm excited about having Laura Eisenhower there. Laura Eisenhower, for those of you who know or may not know, the name should be sort of ring a bell. Her great grandfather was Dwight D. Eisenhower, the president of the United States of America. She's going to be on stage. And I mean, I'm going to blow your audiences. I mean, some of your audience might be a little bit more towards the three-dimensional. Maybe they're starting to graduate over to the fourth dimensional. They're starting to explore. But she was recruited to go to where? Mars. And she turned it
Wow.
down. She's going to be on stage, right? And she could talk firsthand about stuff like, celestial chambers, AKA med beds and stuff like that. So we got some mind-blowing people with mind-blowing information that are going to absolutely land on what I believe will be the final Quantum Summit. I don't think I want to inflict any more pain on myself, even though I'm a little bit of a sadomasochist. I think I inflicted more pain than I can handle.
A lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
No, that's very cool. And try to and let's put some stuff into context because obviously today's a big day when we happen to be shooting this. We have the inauguration, President Trump taking back over. Why don't you tell people a bit about how you see kind of the world changing moving forward now? What changes everyone should kind of expect, and what you where you think this takes America moving forward? Because to me, this seems like a very pivotal point in our entire nation. So where do you see all that headed?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that I say this with kid gloves, and I'm going to try to make it so that it's believable. Number one, this is provincially, we're looking at not one, but multiple technologies that are completely disruptives on levels that I can't even begin to explain. So I'm probably not qualified, but I will tell you that I understand it from a theoretical standpoint enough to be dangerous. For example, flying cars, right? That's coming. Okay, there's an actual video with Xi Jinping on the thumbnail, and there's like a million flying cars behind him. And the video in 5 days gets 7.8 million views. Why did that happen? That happens because people are all of a sudden tired of the Model T extension technology that's way outdated, dinosaur shit, right? So they want to graduate. That's why that thing's got 7.8 million views. And so that's coming. That when that comes, all the airline pilots, all the airline stewardess, all the guys who does the baggages and maintenance on airplanes and the people who work at the airport, that whole entire sector is gone. Okay. So how are they going to roll it out? They're going to roll it out to where only the rich people can afford it initially. My intuition tells me yes. And then they're going to make it cheaper and cheaper in the next 10, 15, 20 years. Yes, because they can't just give it to us all at once because these people will be displaced. And where do you put them? That's
Yeah.
the $29,000 question. That's just one of many. Okay. We have technology, artificial intelligence, robotic stuff that could be handled by satellites, for example, that could do all of the farming. These are nonsensical jobs that are backbreaking jobs that we should not be doing in 2025, right? We have the technology. We have people on stage, for example, that are be working with who? RFK incognito, but they're going to be at, and if you want to know who they are, you got to come to the Quantum Summit on March 8th and 9th. They'll tell you they're working with RFK background. They don't want to be in the limelight. They don't want to be on stage. They don't want to be on mainstream media, even though mainstream media is dead. That's a whole other subject. But the reality is, they're going to be on stage telling you that these guys are the absolute quintessential experts in taking the heavy metals out of the dirt, keeping it out of the dirt, where we can clean the dirt once and for all forever and put the proper nutrients and trace minerals back in the dirt. Those people are going to be where? On stage at the Quantum Summit. So we got a whole hooray. We got obviously a crowd favorite, Jim Gale from foodforestabundance.com. He'll be back again. He's a very dear friend of mine for more than 10 years. He's going to be on stage with the CEO of Purium, potentially the most, superfood, super organic product on the face of the earth. The CEO of that company is going to be on stage with Ian Farrar, who is the number one distributor for his company. I'm not sure if Amy's going to come, which is his partner. I mean, just everybody that you could possibly think under the sun. We spray our chairs, for example, when you come to the Staying Alive, healing center. What do we spray them? We don't spray, we don't wash them down with Fantastic or Formula 409. You know what it's called? It's called Formula 409 because there's 409 ingredients in there designed to kill you. Right? We spray our
Yep.
stuff with stuff that's super organic, highly probiotic. That lady's going to be on stage telling you about products that you should get rid of the products you have underneath your sink, which are deadly for you and your kids, and replace them with stuff that if you only use a little capful, you can make an entire liter, a whole bottle. Okay. And one bottle, which makes like, probably 100, maybe more than 100, maybe 200 liters, is actually 10 times more expensive than the poison you're buying at the store. That's what's going to be on stage.
No, that's crazy. And I think it's even more exciting kind of going into kind of the revolution we're seeing in terms of these people finally being put in a position of power where they can affect these change. Leadership really does come from the top. And for a long time, it kind of seemed like everyone knew about these changes happening. Everyone knew this shift, but it was hard to get that big breakthrough considering we were kind of being oppressed by a lot of those people put in the government to shut a lot of these things down. So it seems like for the first time ever, there's really going to be a boom of these free ideas really able to take place and people really able to start focusing on these things to better themselves.
Yeah, and the new additions that I think we should tell the world that will be at the Quantum Summit this year also is Sean Taylor, the biggest whistleblower story in the history of the little ones that are being, moved around underneath the tunnels. You know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to keep it under the radar because I don't want to jeopardize his channel. You say, Mel, I'll never have you on my channel ever again. You know what I mean? He gets a strike. You don't want to do that. So Sean Taylor is going to be there. Sean Taylor told a story to a bunch of podcasters that what they got a private invitation. I don't know why they invited me, but they did. I was there. Okay, there was 38 of us, including Nino Rodriguez, and with Juan Osavin, who was an ex-spy of the United States. That's a whole other story. That's why his answers are so long-winded, by the way. But Sean Taylor gets called into a private meeting, right? And they said, if you see these trucks on the road with this name of the company on the road, they told this to the sheriff's department, the state police, the top enchalant, because they were moving the little ones, and you're
Wow.
not allowed to disrupt their business. He blew the lid off of that thing. I don't know why this story is not like, international news on steroids. They're trying to put a lid on it. He's going to be on stage. Dr. Jan Halper Hayes called me from the UK just yesterday, say, Mel, please let me interview Sean Taylor. Senator who just got recently elected, Senator Mark Fincham from Arizona is coming to the summit. He called me. He doesn't even know. He just basically called me and said, Mel, I saw this advertising about some quantum summit. Next thing I see your ugly mug on there, and I bought a ticket. He said, by the way,
Oh,
can I speak? So he actually bought a ticket and he's actually speaking. So that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, like little things like that. We got let's see who's new this year. That's really, really cool. Well, obviously we said Lori Eisenhower already. Um Mariah Frusi. She's the one that'll be working with the RFK administration. And
oh, awesome.
Pat Minitech. I believe I'm pronouncing his name properly. Militech, Miletich. Okay. He's also working. That's boyfriend, girlfriend couple. They're both working with the RFK administration. And I know that Dr. Lila, who's a pharmacist who realized that that stuff is no good. Okay. She's going to be on stage telling you that stuff is no good. That stuff, the little pills that they sell that don't work. Uh, Crowd favorite, Patrick Riley will be there. Let's see. Oh, Linda. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. That is a very hard name to pronounce. Syncowictz. Oh my God, that's a mouthful.
That's got about every letter that would make that hard to pronounce all in one
Yeah,
last name.
yeah. Mike Barra, who happens to be good friends with George Norrie from AM Coast to Coast, he's frequently on his show, is going to be at the Quantum Summit, and he's begging me not to do away with the summit. He wants to move it to Vegas. He has no idea what a logistical nightmare this is, right? I'm saying, dude, I think you're gonna have to work really hard at convincing me to keep this thing alive, right? And the great Victoria Reynolds, obviously, Victoria Reynolds wasn't at the last one, but she'll be at this one, and she's very polished, very incredibly spiritual. A lot of great people, a lot of incredible people. I'm not sure SG Anon. He says he's coming. He says, Mel, I'm definitely coming. I don't know. Let's see. Last year he fizzled out on me. 107 last year he said he was coming, and he fizzled out on me. Is he coming this year? I hope so. We'll see. So there's a lot of great stuff. There's a possibility. There's about a 75%, 80% possibility that Nino Rodriguez may come, and I may go pick him up, and I won't tell you how. That will be a surprise if that manifests. I mean, we got Jason Shirka, okay, with the E system. He's coming. I mean, just a great, great crowd of people.
No, yeah, no, that's really exciting. And I guess where can people go find out more about the Quantum Summit if they do want to get involved? How do they get tickets? Where is it? Kind of tell people a bit about that.
Awesome. Quantum Summit 1776.com. Quantum Summit 1776.com. And let's see what happens with the price. I think you'll agree with me. If the price of the ticket, I'm sorry, if the price of XRP rather goes to $30, 20, $30, conservative number, by the end of by March 7th, March 8th, Do you think that may energize? Because this would technically be the very first party that's available in 2025 to go celebrate a $20 price tag. Let's use the smaller number. XRP will be the very first party, will be officially in Cape Canaveral on the 7th and the 8th. Do you think that that might be something that might energize the tickets getting booked?
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, just the fact that now us as an XRP community, right, can start valuing our purchases in XRP and stuff like that. I mean, we just get more and more wealthy, which is one of the reasons why I think stuff like this is great because you get to introduce people, right, who might not be necessarily in the XRP world. Maybe they're more in the health and wellness kind of thing. How we're kind of creating this new money on the other side of things, and look, everything just gets cheaper in terms of XRP. So that's one of the things that I think is going to be a massive benefit. And as the price goes up, all of these events, all of these things get cheaper and cheaper relative of XRP, and we
Yeah.
kind of create our own kind of economy in that kind of sense.
Sure, but when they go to the website, the Quantum Summit 1776, look at the level of food you're getting. We're having an hors d'oeuvre party, a pool party at the end, the very last day. It's a 2-day event. You're gonna have wedding style food, all you can eat, lunch, dinner, lunch. Then the gala dinner is a separate deal. I mean, you're getting literally wedding style food. But I tell you, the important thing is that we're gonna have a party and we're gonna have a DJ. We're gonna have dancing. We're gonna have karaoke. I know that what's his name would kill me, Patrick Riley, if I don't have his karaoke there for him. He's a karaoke nut. You know that, right?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
yeah,
he did it at Vegas. I mean, I've seen him get up there a couple times. He loves
yeah.
it.
Yeah. So we also have Rob Cunningham coming. Cool show. KUWL show. He's coming. Maybe General Tata is going to be there again if Dr. Jan Helper can influence him. We got screwbiggov.com. Louis Herms will be there. Kerry Cassidy. I mean, look, we got a cat. We got the cast of casts. We really do.
No, that's awesome. And is there anything you kind of want to leave everyone with here before we sign off? Kind of some final notes for the Quantum Summit, what you're looking forward to. And I know we talked about where people can go get access to the Quantum Summit, but where can people find yourself as well?
Oh, yeah, very simple. If you go to QFS1776.com, QFS, which stands for Quantum Financial System, 1776.com, at the top, you'll see all of our social media links. Well, most of them, not all of them. I'm still yelling at my staff to put them up there, put them all up there, but they haven't gotten around to it. It's like I drive people crazy. It's not easy being married to Mel Carmine. By the way, the glasses are to protect myself from these poisonous screens. I'm way cool without them, but I start to tear if I don't wear them. So that's why I'm wearing them.
Yeah, there's a lot on the other side of all this, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I've been watching your shows on a regular basis too. By the way, I like to keep up with you, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get, at least this time around, Zach Rector, the great Zach Rector. But I would have loved to see Zach Rector. This is the dream. This would have been the dream panel on stage. You, Zach Rector, the Black Swan Brothers with maybe David, a Digital Outlook. That would be like the dream panel, right, on stage live at the Quantum Summit. But maybe if I don't know if Mike Barrett could convince me that I should keep going, and I'll let him be the sadomasochist this time and let him run the show. Maybe who knows? Who knows?
Awesome. No, well, I appreciate it. It was a great conversation. Looking forward to seeing everyone at the event. And yeah, no, always great to touch base with you, Mel. And let's just keep this thing going, keep getting everyone excited because it was a great time. And I'm sure it's going to be even better this year.
Absolutely. The important thing is that the people are coming down to see you. But see, and I think we'll leave it at this. I think you'll agree with this, and I think your audience will agree with this. This business is not about a microphone and a camera and never coming out to meet your fan base. This gives the opportunity for the podcaster who really truly cares about their fan base, because without your fan base, you wouldn't be where you're at. Without my fan base, I wouldn't be where I'm at. It's only the right thing to do to come out from behind the microphone and the camera and shake these people's hands, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of my favorite parts about doing all of this. When you're stuck behind the screen, right? You see all the names, you see all the comments, but being able to put a real face to a lot of people is truly incredible. And it's by far my favorite thing about all these kinds of events. So it's one of the reasons I get so excited to go to stuff like this. I get to meet people, I get to shake people's hand, and it just makes it all so much more real.
Yeah, and be honest with you, I'm just as starstruck because I say I follow him. I'm one of his fans, okay, and so I get to meet guys like this all the time. So I'm excited to meet him again for the third time, as we met at the Vegas, right? The
Yep.
one time, and then we did Quantum Summit. We're about to do Quantum Summit, the final Quantum Summit, hopefully, and you'll be there, and I get to meet him again and hang out, and we do some crazy stuff afterwards. We'll have a couple of. I don't drink. I don't indulge. I know he doesn't indulge, but I know a few people around us do, and it's fun to be around people who indulge because you never know what they're going to say. Sometimes it's funny.
Yeah, it's a good. It's definitely a good way to put it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on and looking forward to this.